It's the Two Gems Podcast.
Hello, wife.
Okay, we're good.
How are you over there?
I'm good. How are you doing? Matthew?
I'm doing all right.
Never better?
Oh, I've been better. We'll see, though. We will see.
Want to tell everybody why you're feeling that way?
That's how we're kicking it off?
Yeah, why not?
Welcome back to the Two Gems Podcast. I feel like we need a cool intro.
We have one. It's a nice little jingle.
I'm almost over the jingle.
Theo really nails the jingle. Maybe we should have him doing it.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
That'd be so cute.
That'd be so funny, actually.
Adorable.
Should we do it this episode or next episode?
I don't know.
Like, I could change it this one, have it be Theo.
Aw. Little Theo.
Yeah, no, everything's all peachy in my life. I'm feeling a little sore this morning. I started my workout regimen. Actually, you know what? I don't even think I'd call it a workout thing. I'm trying to get a grasp on my health. Is what it is. Mm-hmm. When I was down in Colorado and I was hanging out with my cousins down there and stuff, one of their boyfriends, Nick, who's the absolute man, talked about him last episode. I love him very much. He feels like family now. He's a big fitness guy. And you look at him, he looks great. Like, the guy just looks awesome. And when I was down there, I'm like, I always want to look like him. And anyway, he was talking to me a lot about, like, where I'm at in life and where I see myself and all this stuff. I'm 38 years old now. And he's saying, you're like heading into your 40s, man. Like, what do you do to look after yourself? And my response was absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, I still eat like Starburst on a daily basis and shit. Like, I'm just like, it's ridiculous. Right. And so basically, apparently, when you start hitting your 40s, your muscles actually deteriorate. Oh. There's probably going to be like fitness people on here that are listening. So are going to be like, it's actually when you're 47. Like, I don't know. I'm not, I'm just kind of getting into this. But he was basically saying, like, your 40s and 50s, your muscles start to deteriorate. Okay. Like, no matter what you do, they're going to start deteriorating. Like, you know how people start shrinking a little bit as they get older? And I'm like, I can't believe that's where I'm at in life. I'm like thinking about the other side of this when I'm shrinking. So he was basically just saying, like, now's the time to get a hold of your fitness and start looking at what you're eating and just, like, calculate this stuff a little bit better and make sure that you're getting the proteins that you need to keep your muscles healthy and stuff as I start deteriorating in my old age over here. So anyway, I'm really excited about this. Today was day one. Today's day one. I woke up this morning, did a 30-minute workout program.
When was the last time you've done a 30-minute workout?
I was going to say I never have, but that's a lie. I started doing P90X like, oh my God, it must have been like 15 years ago or something.
Well,
how
old were you?
It would have been after 2007 because I was with Nikki. So maybe like 2009. So let's say in around there. Okay. And the very first day, like the first day that I did, I vomited all over my living room floor when I was doing it. Yeah. I may have drank too much of the like pre-workout shit, maybe. Anyway, I'm excited about this. I really am. I think that the way that Nick was asking me, like, what do you want out of this? And I kept on coming back to, like, I want to have a long life for the kids. Like, I want to be there for my children for many years to come. And he was saying, like, I need more than that. He's like, it's a great reason, but you have to be slightly selfish with this stuff. Like, you need to have reasons for it that, like, motivate you and push you every morning to get up and continue doing something that you really don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And it was, it was multifaceted. When we talked about it, I was like, I wear double XL t-shirts and big hoodies and shit to cover up the fact that I'm overweight underneath them. And it looks good on me and whatever, but, yeah, I'm excited to be able to get into a shirt that, like, by definition fits me properly and feel better. Like, I find, when you finish lunch and it's like you need a nap, that's because the shit that we're eating sucks. Mm-hmm. Like, when you go and eat a bunch of bread and it's got mayonnaise on it and freaking processed meats and like, it's like, I'm hoping that what I get out of this is that when I'm done eating a meal, I feel great. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I just put some more gas in the tank and I'm ready to keep going, not like I finish my meal and I'm like ready to keel over. Like, and then another thing that I said to Nick too is like, it seems like everything else in my life is sorted out. Like, my work is good and my family's good and my marriage is good and the kids are good. Like, all this stuff is good. And I completely dropped the ball on my personal fitness.
I think sometimes that's the hard part, because when everything is so good, you're like, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for you. I think the biggest thing, like, yes, it's going to be nice to look better in a shirt and all that kind of stuff. But I think when your brain is healthy and your body's healthy, everything just kind of feels better.
Yes.
And I'll bring it back to when I went to Africa, because I feel like that was such an interesting time for me, because I've always kind of not eaten great. And that's been fine for me. But when I went to Africa and I stayed, oh my God, I'm going to have a brain fart of what it's called, but it was in Namibia. And anyway, I was a very picky eater. I still kind of am, I guess. But back then, which would have been when? That would have been... well, before I met you. So at least like 12 years ago.
You went there in 2013, I think, is when you went.
Right. And there wasn't much selection of things to eat. And I found that I just wasn't eating as much, but I was eating good things like fruits and vegetables and little things. And I didn't need to eat as much as I ever thought that I did. And I felt great. And I felt better. And I drank so much water. That's where I think we all kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Like, the amount of water you're supposed to consume in a day is insane.
I'm a living version of that meme where you drink one glass of water and think you got your health in order.
Exactly. And I just felt good, and nothing, and it didn't really matter what I looked like. I just felt good. And I think that's number one, And even you, like, you came out of your 30-minute workout today and you felt better. Like, it's nice to move your
felt
body.
Awful, but
but like your mind, you're like,
Yes.
this is nice.
Oh, yeah.
I got a sweat. Like, you're supposed to sweat. I don't know what the stat is, but you're supposed to sweat like 30 minutes a day, like sweat.
Yeah.
Not just
I
walk.
haven't sweat in like 15 years. It was ridiculous.
Well, granted, though, you do a lot of stuff outside, and you're always kind of moving, but actually breaking out in a sweat is something different.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. I never get my heart rate up. I just fart around and lift the kids and like throw basketballs around, stuff like that, and pull four-wheelers out of mud, but I'm never like actually doing anything.
Yeah.
My
I'm
heart
excited
rate never
for you.
goes up.
And it's nice to have
I am.
something for yourself.
Yeah.
And like Nick said, like, obviously it's for your family and it's for everything, but it's for you. You're your own body, you're your own person, and you want to do this for yourself. And I think that's awesome. It's so nice to have something for just you.
So this is like kind of like eerie a little bit, but he was saying, and I don't even know, I don't know, maybe I want to know the answer, I don't know, but he was saying that there's something you can do now. I forget what it is. And I had heard this before because I know that Dana White just did it there with the UFC. But there's something that you can do where this company like interrogates you basically and like figures out like everything about you. Like how much you weigh, what you eat, like how much sleep you get, how much water you drink, everything about you. And they like scan your body. Mm-hmm. Like I think they like actually like look at your like genetic makeup and stuff. And apparently they can tell you like within a month of when you're going to die.
What?
Yeah, like they can tell you like you have 28 years and apparently it's ridiculously accurate.
How do you know? How do you know if it's accurate?
Because I don't know. Apparently there's just something like...
Has it been proven? Has somebody passed away since I've done that formula? Like, how do we know here?
I'm going to have to Google this.
Yeah,
but if Nick was like adamant about this, he's like, they can tell you within like a ridiculously close amount of time when you're going to die.
I would just...
And Dana White was just talking about this too. That he had his body scan. He was like, holy shit. That's why Dana White's lost like, man, a ton of weight in the last few years because he got scanned and was like, I'm too awesome to let this fall through the cracks and just like and die early. Yeah. When you could prolong your life. Mm-hmm. And I heard another like public speaker guy talking about that. He's up on stage talking to him. He's like, I run now. And everyone's kind of laughing a little bit. He's like, I don't know why I'm running. They just tell me I'll get more time with my kids if I run a little bit. So I'm running now. Yeah. And like it actually made me tear up a little bit. I was like, yeah. Like how selfish is it to make stupid decisions all the time that's going to like not give you a bunch of more time with your kids. Mm-hmm. Like that's to me like such a big motivation. Like, man, I want to be around when my kids are going through all this stuff in life. So like that to me is like my why. I'm like, I really want to be there for that. And then on the other side, I'm like, I'm excited to just feel good and look good. Yeah. I'm excited to look good. Mm-hmm. I haven't felt like ultra comfortable in my own skin and probably like, God, Sheridan, it's got to be like 15, 16, 17 years. It's been a long time.
Wow.
Well, I came out of high school, jumped into some work for a bit. I did the oil rig thing, and then I went off to school and got into my career. And I have just never stopped to just like take a breath and be like, this is what I need to do for myself. Mm. It's just always been work. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. Next week he's over. He quits.
Has a box of Timbits here. No,
all the listeners are going to hold me accountable to this.
Sometimes it's important to say those things out loud so that people know that you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
I'm super excited for you.
When are you starting with me?
Yeah, I think it'll just kind of happen for me organically because you cook food around here and I eat what you cook, and that obviously rings true, especially like when you were away in Colorado. It's obvious that I don't really care about stuff in the kitchen. That's kind of always been a joke. Actually, we could even go back to when I did this ad for HelloFresh. Do you remember that? I was pregnant with Sage.
You did a few of them though.
No, but I did an ad for HelloFresh, and in my caption I said something like that I just made peanut butter sandwiches, and oftentimes I don't know if a brand is gonna like push it out to the world or not, and they threw that one on Facebook. Oh my God, you don't remember that?
I remember it. Yeah,
and people were like, "Oh, that's like, you're a terrible mom. You just make peanut butter sandwiches," and I'm like, "Yeah, oh my goodness," but I just really don't care, and I have never cared much about food. And having those yummy meals, and I don't know why, I just don't care. Like, oftentimes I'll happily eat soup and a sandwich every night. So you're kind of the one in the kitchen because you care, and I think that this is going to help me just eat whatever you're eating and all will be well.
Yeah.
For me, it's not so much the way that I look, it's just how I want to feel. I like to wake up and not feel tired. I feel tired all the time.
I think you're lying.
About what?
I think you do care a little bit about what you look like.
I think
you have to. Nick says you have to be selfish about it. Don't be embarrassed to say that you want to look better. Because he shut me down and was like, man, you have to be selfish about this. Because there's going to be mornings you're going to wake up and it's going to suck.
Right.
And then you have to remember why you're doing this.
Right.
Look at yourself in the mirror after 2 months' time of what you look like. Don't be embarrassed to say it. Because I know we're all about body positive. Of course we are. But
yeah,
don't be. But you have to be motivated to do this shitty stuff every day.
For sure, I hear you definitely. I think when it comes to the body and the way that I look, I think it's just taken me so long and so many years to recognize that it really truly is the least exciting thing about me. When I used to think that it was the most exciting thing about me. And
I totally disagree, but keep going.
And I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah.
Because I spent so much time just thinking that it only mattered what I looked like, and it was very superficial, and I was always focused on, what people said about that. And then, my body changed a lot, and it made me realize that my brain and all the awesome things that I bring into the world are way better than my body. So I think it's just not my focus in terms of like health stuff. It wouldn't so much be my body, it would be more so like my brain and just feeling better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go put Lloyd in his crate.
This is too bad because we were on a roll there.
I know.
I like
Lloyd's barking. He really wants to be a part of the podcast. Hold on.
No, he's not. He's barking at something outside, I think. No. Well, I think I also wanted to bring up, while we're still on the same subject, is that the apps now are crazy. Like the. Well, no, but
this turns into a fitness podcast.
No, but I'm D's now. No, but there could be a lot of stuff that people don't even really realize is happening now that makes it like a lot easier to track what's going on. Like I remember any time that I had looked into this before, like over a decade ago, we didn't really have the technology that we have now. So Nick's got me set up on this app called MyFitnessPal. It's $150 a year if you sign up for it. And you could basically the interface and everything's really simple to understand. And basically there's like your food diary in here. Like it's like your diary of like everything that you're doing, where your weight's at, what you're eating, etc. And you can like last night, it was my first time using the app when I had supper last night, and I didn't really know what to do. It just said scan your meal. And I was like, no way. So I held the camera over top of my plate, and it picked up every single thing on my plate, and then basically relies on you to make sure that your portions are correct. So it shows you what it should be, like the size of your fist, all that stuff. But then it basically just logs in, like, is it a portion of strawberries? Is it a portion of granola? Is it a portion of yogurt? Is it a portion of vegetables? Like whatever it is. And it was like, on your plate right now, you have chicken. 1 portion. You have rice, 1 portion. You have. It knew that there was What was that? What else did I have on my plate last night? What was it?
The hot sauce?
I knew there was some sauce. They would ask me if it was marinara. I just vetoed that. But there was
The
some
feta? The cheese?
Yeah, the cheese, and there was something else. What did I have? A bunch of broccoli, and it knew everything that was on my plate just from scanning a picture in like 1 second. It was crazy. So anyway, I'm definitely gonna have to stay motivated on this. I'm the kind of person that, like, when I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. But
You do, that's very commendable.
I've always had a hard time with this though.
I think everybody in the world does.
I really like food a lot. Like a lot. I love drinking a good beer and I love having food. So trying to find that balance is just going to be...
Well, I think that's number one. Like, I think you need to learn how to find a healthy balance that also brings you joy and doesn't make you feel miserable. And you can and I think that's the goal in life, is to create a happy, healthy balance for yourself.
Yeah.
So you still enjoy your life, and we can go out for date nights and still drink the pitchers of beer and have the nachos. But then it's just back to whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy for you, hon. I can't really speak on it because it's just not. I'm like, I can't provide any in-depth insights here, but
I'm excited. Like I according to this app, I have, like, I think it was something like 2,400-ish calories a day or something like that to eat. I forget what the exact thing was.
Yeah.
So, like, I had a good breakfast this morning, and that was only 451 calories.
You're hilarious. I love you.
No, I'm like, that means that I could hypothetically eat like 4 or 5 of those a day. I mean, I don't need any more food than that. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, it's hard to shrink your stomach. I think that's the hardest part because your belly's still hungry, but it doesn't take long for you all of a sudden to be like, oh, I'm not that hungry. I'll just drink some water. Yeah.
I woke up last night and I was like, oh my God, I'm hungry. But it's just a mental thing, like, I think, like, when you look around the world right now, it's just everything going on. Like, if my hardest task is shaving a little bit off my plate and working out a little bit every day, it's like, man, my life's pretty freaking good.
Right.
So anyway, I'm not going to be like one of these douches, like,
hey, they're not douches.
No, I don't know. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
It's just,
I'm
taking it back. I'm not going to take it back next episode. I'm taking it back right now. I know what I'm not going to be. I'm just going to be regular old Matt.
Right.
I'm just going to try and just keep an eye on things a little bit more and hopefully just feel better. I'm excited.
Can't wait to see you on our March break trip. Oh, baby.
Nothing's changed.
No, things will change.
Oh, of course it will. Right. I was down 10 pounds and I went to Colorado, and then I put all of it back on drinking and eating down there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Right.
Alcohol. My God. I think they say that 1 beer is equivalent to 4 pieces of bread.
I remember hearing that a long
So
time
then
ago.
I'll go out and drink a case of beer, like, no problem.
Right.
So I just had, like, what's that? 48 pieces of bread. So I sat down and ate like 3 loaves of bread. Mm-hmm. Like, just like that.
You want to talk about Theo? He just came to mind because I posted that photo of the boys today, and a lot of people actually wrote, well, not a lot, but a couple people wrote, is that Matt or Theo? I can't tell. So I guess you look a lot like Theo in that photo. It's funny because I'm so convinced he looks like me with his big brown eyes. But then I see photos of you as a child, and I definitely see that he also looks like you. But we haven't really ever, we kept like side swiping and be like, oh, we'll talk about it next time, about Theo and his medication and his assessment and whatnot. And I still oftentimes get messages from people asking about how Theo's doing, or if I could provide them. I actually just got another email from someone this morning, like they took the time to send an email asking about where I got him assessed and whatnot. Because of course, a lot of people are feeling like they need a little bit of guidance because it is kind of a confusing process and sort of coming to terms with what's going on. So I will just say that we got Theo assessed. Okay, here I am. I don't even know the name of the stupid place. Good start.
Yeah.
No, I got him assessed at...
you got this, baby. You got this.
I don't even know what it's called.
Her name's Sarah.
Yes, but his name,
She's
the
fantastic.
owner of the company is Robert something. Anyway, it's by the roundabout. At the Armdale Rotary, and it's right over there. And I probably should have come prepared with knowing what it was called. I don't, but it was a private assessment, and I will say it was certainly pricey. I think by the end of it all, it was maybe like $2,700, something like that. By the time we got quite a bit of it back through our health insurance, which was great. I was willing to pay. It was priceless for me to get Theo in and to get it figured out.
It was priceless, but my break-off point was $3,000.
Yeah. No, I know. It sounds, but like I was willing to do whatever it took to be able to afford to pay for Theo to do that, because obviously it matters to us.
Obviously, yeah.
Theo was assessed with ADHD and also a highly sensitive child, which we know, a little bit of anxiety, and but the ADHD was definitely the most prominent thing. So Matt and I went back and forth, sort of deciding what we were going to do. And I was definitely on the train of trying Theodore out on medication. I had told Matt that, in my opinion, nothing is permanent. If we didn't like the results, then we could take him off of it, but it was least worth a shot. Matt was kind of humming and hawing about it. And then, I don't remember when the breaking point was, but I do know at some point Matt was like, oh my gosh, let's try the medication.
Should we talk about this?
Do you remember the breaking point?
Well, okay. So I feel like we should talk about this part for a sec, because it's really important. Because I think a lot of people are going to be stuck on that kind of like that cliff of like, do we jump in and put our child on medication? Well,
and it can be controversial, I think, a little bit, because some people firmly believe in medication and some people do not. And when I spoke about it, and I was even a little bit nervous to talk about on my stories and say like, this is the route that we've chosen for Theo. And I even had to say in my stories, like, please, like, respect my decision, because I know you're not all going to feel that way, but this is how I feel. And like, know that I'm a good mom and this is what I'm choosing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were some people that were like, oh, I don't know if that's the right thing for you to do. Right. Yeah. I didn't receive any backlash. I received a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like praise about doing it, and like wishing me luck and advice and, suggestions and whatnot. But, sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, I just think before you go in everything else, and you can do your thing, but I do think that this is worth talking about for a second, is that the big thing for me is that when we sat down on the phone with Sarah and had our like one of our first or second consultation, whatever, I think it was our first consultation, before she had sat down with Theodore, she was trying to basically like download all the data on us about like what this medication actually does and what the purpose of it is, and how everyone's putting their children that misbehave under this guise of ADHD now, and it sucks, because it's not what it is. Every kid that can't pay attention for a couple seconds and is running around hitting his brother or something doesn't have ADHD. It's not what it is. But one of the things that she said to me that really like shifted my mindset around it was when she said that, like, it's not about you and like your preference over medication and stuff. What you need to remove yourself from the situation and understand this is for Theodore, so that he can achieve what he wants to achieve in his life. And if this is going to hold him back, but putting him on this like magical pill that changes the chemical balance in his frontal lobe, allows him to do better in school and be an overachiever, it's a no-brainer.
And a better friend, and a better son, and a better brother, and like
when you could see that it was hurting Theodore when he would lay in bed and cry because he's saying his brain's mixed up and stuff. Yeah, it's like I need to take my own bias out of the situation and be like, this is for Theodore. This is for Theo, and we can try it out. And she said, the shelf life for it was really small. It's 1 day. It's in and out of your system, I think, in less than 24 hours. I think it's like 18 hours or something like that. So like, if this pill does anything weird to him and you don't like who he is, or it changes his behavior, take him off the next day and he'll go right back to how he was.
Yeah. I think we sat and have talked about this forever, because, we've noticed not changes, but we've noticed who Theo is forever. And this is definitely not just like a whim decision. We were like, oh, and this is what we're going to do. Like, this has been a conversation in our household for years. On top of that, I was diagnosed with ADHD in university. It took that long for me to get a diagnosis. Now, back then, obviously it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And I know you say like not every child has ADHD, and I agree with you. And I do think that with social media and all like the memes and the jokes about ADHD, and with a lot, not even just ADHD, with a lot of things, you can read it and be like, do I have this? Right. And so I think sometimes it gets downplayed, like how serious it is to have ADHD.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, well, we all have it. It's like, well, no, that's really not actually how it works. So I was diagnosed with it in university, and I went on, I think it was Ritalin, and I hated it. It turned me into a zombie. I certainly focused. I'll never forget when I wrote my first midterm, and I actually sat down and wrote the whole midterm. And I looked up and I was like, holy shit, I didn't even look up once. Whereas in the past, it would have been, farting around, looking around, thinking of everything else. And so I went off of it because I didn't like it. I didn't like who I was becoming. People would notice it. They'd be like, are you okay? Like, you're not really acting like yourself. And I think I had spent so many years figuring out ways to work with it myself without having a pill that I just didn't want to be on it. Now, that was a while ago, and thinking now as a mom and all the things that I do and the way my brain works, I'm almost tempted to be like, you know what? Like, it might not be a bad thing for me to try again, because I get so overstimulated and so frustrated, and so my brain is just in a gazillion different places. And I'm like, hey, maybe it wouldn't hurt for me to try again. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. But with Theo, we put him on, we decided to put him, and so, sorry, I should say that also made me hesitant for Theo as well, because I was old enough to understand and see the differences that were happening with me. And I was
and make
worried.
Your own judgment call.
Right. And I was worried that with Theodore, he wouldn't be able to do that. And we would just see all these great results, and Theo would be more like calm and collected. And we'd love that for him. And we'd be taking away from Theo's character. So it was certainly a big decision. And then we did decide finally to put Theo on medication. And then after that, it was a whole other journey trying to get him in to actually get the prescription. Because once you have the assessment done, that doesn't necessarily mean you can just get a pill in your hand right away. We do not have a family doctor. Our doctor retired, I don't even know. I actually don't even know. COVID happened and I blacked out.
Something like that. Yeah.
Like, people are like, did Sage even go and see the doctor? I'm like, I don't know. Did she meet him? Like, I can't even remember, but she did. So anyway.
Sage walking around with not a single needle.
Yeah, no. And the craziest thing, no, but do you know what the craziest thing is? I tried to call to get the records of all of our children, and I don't know where they are. You call her doctor's office and there's nothing. So I have to get in touch with people, because I don't know, Kaya's.
It's so archaic.
Oh my God.
You'd think it would be attached to your SIN number. Or your
I don't know, but
something.
it's very frustrating because I don't know where any of anybody's records are, and it's driving me.
It's like the healthcare system is still stuck in the ways pre-internet.
Yeah.
How come there's not an app on my phone that shows me the last time I got my balls checked or something? You know what I mean?
Oh my God, your balls.
Really. I don't know. It should tell you everything.
Yeah,
it should tell you everything. The last time I had my blood pressure checked, I should be able to see that on my phone in Health Canada and see it.
I agree.
At some point, it'll catch up. I'm sure.
Will.
We just need AI.
So you're not. So then now you're distracting me with your stupid ball comment. So then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to try and go to a walk-in for Theo to get a prescription. Well, guess what? There's no walk-ins that you can walk into. Half the doctors there won't actually prescribe medication for you. They'll say no. They'll want you to go and talk to a pediatrician, whatever it is. I tried the Maple app that I've had success with before. They just completely denied my request. And then I started getting frustrated. Then the summer rolled along, and I'm like, okay, it's the summer. I won't focus on it. We'll worry about it once school starts. Then all of a sudden, school's starting. Yeah, then school's starting in a couple weeks, and I'm like, holy shit, I still haven't figured this out for Theo. This is so unfair for him. I'd like him to have a great start, when the school starts. Yeah. And I'd also like to have him home for a while to monitor how I feel about this before I send him off to school.
Yeah.
So I had this weird aha moment. I was walking Lloyd, and I was like, oh my God, I wonder if there's any private clinics here in Halifax. Lo and behold, I end up calling this company called Blue Nose Health, and I spoke to the woman on the phone, and I almost cried because I said to her, I explained the situation, and she's like, yes, no problem. I'll get him in this week. I'm like, what did you just say? Because I felt like I had been trying so hard, calling walk-ins, doing everything, and just what do they say, where you're grasping for straws or whatever, and there's nothing happening. So it's not free, which really pisses me off, because with the amount of money that I pay for tax, I'm like, can I please have a free doctor? Not that I mean to complain, but I'm like, it's crazy to me when
shit's getting spicy.
No, but when I really think about it, I'm like, I have to pay for my healthcare in order to get in for Theodore. It bothers me.
Oh yeah.
But I'm willing to do it because I want to do whatever I can for him to succeed. So I think for a monthly fee for Theo, I believe it's $13. Don't quote me on that. I could be totally wrong. For him to be in the system, and then every time you go, I had my initial assessment, and it was like $69, and then every time you go and get a prescription or whatever, it costs money. Whatever, I was willing to pay it. So we brought Theo in. The nurse practitioner was lovely, and it's funny because I brought him in, and just him sitting there at that moment was absolutely impossible. It's visualizing Theo just sitting there while I'm speaking to this nurse practitioner, and it's not about Theo. Like, he's not speaking. I'm trying to like catch her up on what's going on, and she just saw the whole thing unravel.
Hand you the prescription.
Yeah, and so we started Theo on Concerta at 18 milligrams a pill. He was able to swallow the pill, no problem, and he was on it for about a month.
Yeah, probably about that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there were some immediate changes that we saw that were unbelievable. For example, Theo sat and colored for 45 minutes by himself and colored the whole picture. That's never happened in the 6.5 years that I've known him. He's never been able to sit there and concentrate for that long. And then one night, he was doing something, and I said, go find something to do, like, by yourself, which is a hard task for Theo. Next thing I know,
it would be impossible.
Next thing I know, he's in the playroom doing Lego, and he did Lego by himself. I even brought him his dinner in there for 2 hours, to the point where at bedtime, like, we're all turning off the lights. I'm like, Theo, it's time to go upstairs. He's like, I'm not done yet. And I said, well, can you turn off the lights when you come up? And I went upstairs, and it was like a whole other half an hour. I'm like, Theo, let's wrap it up here. He was so concentrated on finishing that Lego design, which is unbelievable because that's never happened before, right? So these were some fantastic things that were happening. And we're like, wow, this is so cool. I found that he was a lot more, I don't know if calm is the right word, but just a little bit more, level-headed versus the ups and downs. So these were some great things that we were seeing that were happening. And we're like, wow, this is wonderful.
Yeah, it almost seemed like one of the things with people with ADHD, especially in children, is that they're really impulsive with stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, his first instinct when his brother ticks him off is just to kick him in the leg or something like that.
Or to say something.
Yeah, or just say something that he regrets later on.
Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed when he started on the medication is that it almost seemed like you could see his soul, like,
his
thinking about stuff a little bit more.
Yes, definitely.
Like, you'd look at him and you could just see him, like, his eyes were kind of triggered a little, and he'd be like, oh my God, like, I probably shouldn't punch Sage right now or something like that. Like, he's always a lot less impulsive with things, I've noticed.
Absolutely, which was all really great. Then, however, we started seeing some things where, well, he wasn't eating, which I know is a thing. I know they say, and I knew that because it happened to me as well when I was on the pill. Then they say, like, your appetite is definitely suppressed. So, like, Theo eats so much. I'm hungry. And he kind of stopped eating. I sort of had to be like, do you want a snack? No, I'm just thirsty. He was very thirsty. That's fine. I'm okay with that as long as he was still eating, which he was, just not his usual, the amount he consumes usually. But I think, like, the point for me was when I realized that Theo was spending a lot of time on his iPad, which he's not really into more often than not. Like, sure, he's getting older, so he's a little bit more into videos than he used to be. But you were asking him, like, do you want to go biking? Do you want to do this? And usually, absolutely, he wants to do it. And he kept saying, no, I just want to lie here. And I was like, you just want to lie here? Like, that's not Theo.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, this isn't what I wanted and what Theo wants. Like, he still wants to do all of his fun activities, just not have that impulsiveness and not have those other, like, his mind racing a million miles a minute. So I think we just kind of stopped giving it to him because, as the woman did say, go ahead.
I think we forgot the pill one day.
Yes.
We forgot the pill one day and then noticed that he was, like, all the best things were kind of still around. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And then we were like, what if we don't give it to him tomorrow? What happens? Mm-hmm. And then we didn't give it to him the next day. And it was like he still seemed to be holding on to some of the attributes that we liked about it, but then he was getting his appetite back and being active again.
Yes.
But it was still like he was thinking about, like, he was just a little more calm.
Right.
So I'm assuming that this is probably the natural progression of where you're going with this. But then I started wondering, is he just, like, getting a little bit older now or something? I don't know. I'm more confused than ever now.
Right. So I spoke to, because, like, they called again to ask about Theo and how he's doing, and I verbal diarrheaed for like 20 minutes. And
Who called you?
Blue Nose Health.
Oh, so the private clinic. It wasn't Sarah that called and followed
No,
up?
she won't ever follow up again. She did her job. And anyway, so
You'd think she'd be the one that would know more than anyone, though, wouldn't she?
well, maybe. I mean,
It'd be awesome to talk to her again after all this now.
Yeah, you probably could book in with her. I'm sure you could. Of course, we could talk to her again. But anyway, so then I spoke to the nurse practitioner, and I basically said, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I don't like about it. This is what I do like about it. And I know that there are different options. And I think that I've seen, because of the pill and how it works, and like we noticed differences right away. It's not like it's like we needed a couple months to really see the results. Like they said, you'll see them immediately. That I'm willing to try him on another pill and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And she was also in favor of that. So we're going in next week to see how it goes. Or sorry, this week,
Thursday,
actually.
I think, wasn't it?
We're going, and I think it's today Wednesday? No, I think it's tomorrow. Anyway, and it's just kind of a lifelong journey, and I think it will be for Theo, for us, trying to find that happy balance where, you know, the Theo that we know and love is there, but also that impulse is contained. And honestly, like you said, it was getting to the point where it was affecting his friendships and his family life and his social life, and that's when it's a problem. That's when it's getting to the point where, you know, in pre-primary or in primary, they're all kind of out on the playground together and they all sort of play together, and you don't really focus on that. But as they get older and they kind of like dive into their friendship groups and stuff, I'm like, Theo, we can't be saying these things to our friends and thinking that they're going to forgive you over and over again, right? That's not how it works. And it's so sad to see him struggle with that. And I think we were just hoping to help him. And I do think that the pill helped, but I also am not sure that it was the right one for him. And I think that's okay. You know, like it's a trial and error sort of situation. So yeah, I agree. I'm kind of a little bit more confused than ever. I knew it wasn't going to be, I know you called it a magic pill earlier, but I knew it wasn't going to be a magic pill because Theo is still Theo.
Well, it's pretty magical. It's pretty weird. Like the fact that you can swallow something that rewires your brain for a day, it's pretty magical. Like it's crazy. Like you could see it. Like there's no way that like, because I had heard rumors that sometimes they'll give you fake medicine just to see if it's like a placebo thing. There's no way that was placebo. Like Theodore was a different person. He was completely different. Like you said, playing Lego for 2 hours. Like what? Theodore can't sit still for 90 seconds.
Right.
So
how do you feel about it? Like, what are you hoping for now?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really weird that when we took him off the pill that a lot of the stuff seemed to like kind of be the same. I'm not saying he's identical to when he was on the pill. I'm just saying
I'm just going to interject and say Theo has always had a lot of ups and downs. There's been weeks where he's been fantastic and then weeks where you're just like, oh my gosh, right? So maybe he's just on one of those highs. I don't know.
Like a part of me wonders, and maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. It would be interesting to bounce this off Sarah, but a part of me wonders if when he was on the pill, he learned to cope with things a certain way. Like his brain started thinking about stuff differently. And then when he was off the pill, he retained some of that new knowledge that he gained. Because you know what I mean? It's like he slipped back into old ways a bit, but not fully. It's like I can reason with Theodore so much easier now.
Right.
Last night when it was teeth brushing time, he came and got his teeth brushed. Where like 4 months ago, God no. Like, you know what I mean? It's just different. It's like he understands that we're not all against somebody. We're just kind of like, oftentimes now, not every night, but oftentimes when I tell him to go lay in his bed and relax for a bit, like on his iPad at nighttime, like 8 o'clock kind of thing, he'll do it. He mostly does it now. Last night wasn't a good example, but he mostly will do it. Like he'll go and have a little bit of alone time now.
Yeah.
Okay, Dad. Okay, Dad. I would have never heard that 4 months ago, and now he actually says, okay, Dad. Everything's not a fight. Only like 60% of the stuff is, you know what I mean? But he's making progress. And I'm like, do we attribute that to the medication? But now it's weird because we took him off it, and now I don't know. I'm really mixed up about it, but at the same time I'm like really proud of Theo for his progress that he's making every day. I mean, Theodore is making a lot of progress right now. I think hearing from his teacher would be really interesting. What is he like when they close that classroom door and he's in there and has to sit there? Have you been getting any messages?
I have not, and I mean,
Is that weird?
Well, the last time we spoke was at the curriculum night, which was a while ago, and
That was
it's
only
still,
like 2 weeks in, though.
Yeah, it's still so fresh that
Yeah.
like children are kind of figuring themselves out in their environment and like learning how they're gonna handle themselves in the classroom. But I definitely will check in with her again. Obviously, it was helpful when we had Tracy last year because, I know her personally and she had Kai and stuff. So it was very easy to communicate with her. But I am definitely going to check in again and see how it's going. I mean, I have asked Theo, I'm like, have you gone to the office? Because last year there was a lot of office visits. He's like, no.
See,
I love my
he hasn't
teacher.
been on medication in a month.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like if this was last year, he would have been sent to the office 30 times.
I will say though, in primary versus grade 1, it's very different. It's a very, and Tracy said that. She's like, in grade 1, you start sitting and learning and math and science. Like it's very much more so school based versus primary, which is different. It's more like a kindergarten setup. And it's funny because you'd think Theo might not thrive in the more like classroom situation, but sometimes that will surprise you in having more of a routine because Theo thrives in routine and stuff like that. It could be better for him. I don't know. But it's definitely weighing on our minds all the time. Parenting's exhausting. And that's kind of Theo's situation. I mean, we could talk about Theo for our freaking rest of our podcast. It would be called the Theo podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's certainly talked about a lot in our household. And, of course, it affects the dynamic with our other 2 kids. Theo will sit there and say, I don't get enough attention. And Kaya's like, all you do is get attention and you take away
He's
from
the
everybody
only
else.
one.
Right. So it definitely affects our family dynamic. And I know so many people can relate to that also have children with ADHD because it's all encompassing. It's so focused, hyper focused on them because you're also trying to make sure they're being good people for everybody in the family, It's all consuming for sure. And but at the same time, like you said, we're so proud of Theo and he's growing up and he's changing every day and he's just like the sweetest kind. So yeah, anyway, we could talk about our kids forever. Theo's biggest and only downfall, as we have said, is that he just wants to be the cool guy, and that is going to ruin his life if he doesn't get aggressive.
Is this the route you're going down now?
Well, I can just talk about that because it's interesting, and I'm sure, well, I don't know if other parents can relate to this, but like Theo's biggest thing is that he wants to fit in and he wants to be the cool guy. We go to the playground, he goes to the teenagers.
Yeah.
Well, you look, what's up? And it's like, and like, that's cool. That's cool. I love that Theo is so social. He'll go talk to anybody.
Anybody.
Doesn't
Doesn't matter who it is.
No, Theo has a special way like that, right? Like he'll talk to anybody. He'll make you feel special. He'll do all that. But he also tries so hard to fit in. And I feel like it's just not great for a child, as you're growing up.
Well, yeah. I mean, he should put his chin in the air and know he's the man anyway.
Right.
Like, he shouldn't have to look for validation in other people. And it's weird, and it could be his downfall. I've seen it firsthand with people around me. Those people that he just needs to get through high school. Like that window of like grade 9 to 12 is a friggin' scary window.
I know.
It is like one of the most pivotal windows of your whole entire life. That little window there where you're rolling through high school, and it's like, what path are you gonna go down when you make your little clicks? You know what I mean?
I agree, but I also think people definitely change after high school. But I agree what you're saying. For
sure. Like
you need to get through that. It's a tough time, and you hope that your children find friends that are good people and that don't make stupid decisions, right?
Well, you're out on your own then. You're in a car. When you take that car out of the driveway, like, where are you going? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I know the shit that I saw coming out of high school. I'm like, man, I'm just glad that I weathered the storm because it's just a weird time in life. And when
what's so interesting, because I'm not gonna say just because I'm from Ottawa, but like in my high school, granted, maybe I didn't hang out with the people where I saw all the shit that was going down. Of course I didn't. I had a boyfriend and just made out with him in the basement. Like, so I didn't really see what was happening. But I feel like so much shit happened in your high school. Like there was so much like stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel like we had all that stuff unless somebody follows or listens to this that's from Barhaven and went to John McCrae, and you can say that I'm wrong, but I feel like there wasn't always like police cars and drugs and violence and stuff, but I feel like your high school had so much of that.
Well, I think it was probably slightly a symptom too of like how many different districts went there, because like our high school was like I can't even believe we're talking about high school. It was so long ago, but I mean like where our high school was positioned, it took in students from such a like vast,
Diverse,
like
different communities.
Yeah, different communities. I mean, you had like country people from one side of the place, and then you had like
City
little
people.
gangsters in Beachville that would like, and so there was like a mishmash of stuff. So there was a lot of different opinions and things going on. And you'd go down to the tracks like on any given day, and there was a fist fight on the tracks. We'd walk down at lunch hour with our popcorn, just watch
That's
fist fights.
great.
Like, oh yeah, I never missed a fight all of high school. I was like me. Jake and Kyle and Wade, like front row seats to every fist fight in high school.
Oh my God, that gives me anxiety.
Oh, I know.
Ugh.
But anyway, we're losing the point. The whole point of this is that like Theodore does have a tendency to follow people when he's such a cool guy. Like, dude, you don't just be your own person.
Yeah.
Just be your own person. Stop taking influence from everybody else. Like when you go to the basketball court, bounce your own ball and shoot your own shots. Like don't run over and be like, watch me do this. Oh, what's your name? Watch me. Like it's just kind of, I don't know. He'll straighten out. He's got a good family around him and good friends. Everything will be fine. Everything's gonna be fine with Theo. It's all gonna work out.
Yeah.
I'd be kidding myself. I think he wasn't gonna get into some shit when he gets older, but it's all gonna work out.
Right.
He's got a little Sage behind him.
Oh my God. Sage is at that stage now where he copies everything Theo does. The way he sings, the way he talks, the way he walks. And Theo's like,
up,
it's so
boy?"
annoying. And I'm like, hello, you did it for Kaya for 5 years. You wouldn't leave her alone. I have videos of like Kaya literally riding her bike, sitting down, and then Theo's behind him, sitting down. Then she gets up, he gets up. And it's like, that's just what siblings do.
Oh, yeah.
Theo.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. But it is funny how every conversation ends up steering into the kids. Like you and I finally get a date night the other night. We're finally out, just the two of us, after like, I don't even know, it seems like forever. And like we just sit there and have a pitcher of beer and like talk about the kids and how we could modify our behaviors and everything. Like,
Yeah, kids take up your whole life. That is for sure.
you got to be careful with it though.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you just do.
Yeah.
You just got to be careful with that, right? And I want to say we've probably talked about that on this show before, but yeah, I don't know. You don't want to lose yourself in the kids. And we all have a tendency to do it. Oh my God. Like how much of like I said this to Theodore laying in bed last night because he doesn't understand why I'm over it at the end of the day. It's like, dude, we wake up in the morning, get you ready for school. Then you go to school. We work all day. We pick you up after work, hang out with you all night, and then lay there until you go to sleep until like 9 o'clock at night. And then I'm too tired to even do anything else.
I know.
I mean, what am I going to do at 9 o'clock at night after I've been up since 5:30? That's the end of the night. And then you get up and do it all over again and again and again and again and again and again forever. And it's like you just, I don't know. You just got to be careful that you don't completely lose yourself. Like in your marriage, right? Like it's important that like, you know, you find that time for one another. Like carve that night out where you can like be romantic, watch a movie together, hold hands, talk about life. Like do things that just for the two of you.
Absolutely.
And do things just for yourself as well, right? It's
such important buckets. Like be a parent, and it is. It's so hard. Like adulting, 0 stars. Do not recommend. It's funny because Kaya keeps saying like, I don't want to grow up, but I keep enticing her. I'm like, Kaya, there's so many great things to look forward to. In my head, I'm like, fucking sucks. I hate it here. But, you know, because Kai and her poor anxiety, right? She's like, I don't want to grow up. Like, I hate this already. And I'm like, no, hon. Like, this is so exciting for you. But, like, yeah, being an adult is stupid. And I don't love it all the time.
I love being an adult. I definitely do.
Sure.
But I miss playing Pogs and marbles and all that shit. Like, life was so simple.
Well, and
they don't even realize it.
And so, well, but that's the beauty of kids, right?
You have no idea.
And you don't want to take that innocence away from them. You want them to certainly like understand a little bit, but like I loved the fact that I was so naive and innocent when I was a child.
Yeah.
That's what made my childhood so special. And I know not everybody was that lucky, you know? So I feel grateful that we can give our children a childhood like that, where they just get to be kids, you know? And Kai's biggest concern is what's happening on the playground with her friends. And I mean, I would never, because as an adult, you look at their situation and you want to be like, oh my God, this is the most ridiculous little thing, Kai. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but to her it does. To her, it really
It's her
matters.
whole life.
So
her whole life is the playground, basically.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, girl, like it's a big deal, you
Yeah.
know? And she's like, thank you for understanding versus being like, whatever, Kaya.
They
You're
have
all
their own
angry.
little like liberal conservative party.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything on the playground.
Anyway,
They do. It's playground politics. You do.
Kaya, last night, we were arguing, you and me, about bedtime. Remember? We had a little moment.
Oh, bedtime sucked last night.
Oh my God, bedtime! Like, please chime in if your bedtime is also stupid. And I was having this conversation with. Listen to me, yeah, just negative Nancy.
This is stupid.
No.
I hate being an adult. Bedtime stinks.
No, bedtime is bedtime was always very sacred to me, and Matt. I'm serious.
Yeah, bedtime is always really sacred.
No, it is.
Sacred, like
Yes, man, I love bedtime. I love curling up in my blankie.
Sheridan's
with my
quest for
fresh
sleep.
sheets. I've always been a sleeper. I've always loved my
Oh my God,
bed,
you
and
are
I
so
will
annoying at
die
bedtime.
on that hill. Bed is the best place in the world. So anyway, so our children, as I've realized last night, for the last, Kaya's 8 now. Well, that's not true because she slept in her crib for a bit. But needless to say, it's been a long-ass journey where our kids do not go to bed in their own room, shut the door, good night. And I find it annoying. I'm just going to be straight up. Like, my bed is my bed. And however, Matt and I had this conversation. We were on our date night, and I kind of had another little aha moment where I realized that when I was a child, I didn't spend much time in my parents' room. And, well, did you? Like, did you go in your parents' room when you were a kid? That's what I'm saying.
Never.
It's almost
I don't
like,
even know what it looked like.
like you almost weren't even invited in. Like, if I went in there, I was like, oh, I'm in their room. Like, if I ran over to get something in the bathroom, I was like, what happens in here, right?
I was in there. Yeah.
The only time I was allowed in there was when I was sick because they had a TV in there and I was like watching TV all day. That's about it. And I'm not saying that they did anything wrong with that, but I think because I was always terrified as a child. I'm talking terrified. We had this one little like what do you call it? There's like a roof. Well, okay, so there was the front door and there was a little thing you could step on, like a railing, and then get up to this like a roof, and then my friggin' room was there, my window was there. So every night I was like, somebody's coming in to murder me. For my entire life, literally up until like a month ago, I'm like, somebody's coming to kill me. And so I thought about this every night, and my heart would be beating like a million miles a minute, and my mom would come in as routine, give me a kiss goodnight, and I'd be like I hated it. Although I did love sleeping, but that moment of panic never went away. So I think that's why our children, when they want to all conglomerate to the room, I'm like, this is so annoying. I hate everything about it, but come on in because I know you feel more comfortable here, right? So it's kind of like a gift and a curse because I'm happy they're there, but I'm also like, get the hell out. I want my room to myself to read my book. Thank you. But I do think that eventually they'll grow out of it. Why were we talking about this? I was going somewhere with bedtime. Oh, Kaya, I know where it's coming. I know what's happening. So last night was another bedtime moment where I was like, I just want everybody to leave this whole entire house so I can go to sleep by myself. But it didn't work out that way. And Matt wanted to watch the Love is Blind reunion.
Oh.
And he was so angry because I was trying to get Kai to sleep in her bed, which is really few
You
and
should
far
have prefaced this with, you broke our sacred bond and watched it with Daphne.
Listen.
You left me out of it.
You said you didn't even care anymore. Okay.
We went down this. You told me that the last thing was the most important thing. We were on this whole journey together, and then you freaked off with Daph and ate cookies at her house.
Whatever. I
Watch
couldn't
without
help.
me.
It was worth it. I have no regrets.
So last night you told me to watch it.
I
So
did.
then I got into it, and then you started trying to implement bedtime while I'm sitting here watching JP's ass coming back out to the couch.
So Kaya was like, I think I want to sleep in my bed tonight. And I'm like, what? Because at this moment, she sleeps with Sage in the bottom bunk right across the hallway from us, and Theo's up top. So I'm like, oh, wow, I'm not going to take this opportunity away from her. Like, she actually wants to go to her own room. So I was in her room. This, of course, set Theo off because if the routine's not the same, he does not like that. So then he was kind of like, and anyway, it started an argument, and Kaya was in her room. I heard yelling about something, or you and I were yelling about the reunion, whatever. I come back in, Kaya's crying.
What?
And I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, are you and Dad getting a divorce?
Oh.
And I'm like, she's like, we're
Oh.
not. No, but she's like, you guys have been fighting a lot lately. Like, actually,
haven't.
let me get through this. And she's like, you guys have been fighting a lot lately. And I'm like, oh, girl. And I said to her, I was like, listen, Kaya, I'm like, your mom and dad, we don't talk about everything with you guys, but we have no problem showing you the ins and outs of our relationship because I think that's important. I said, my mom and dad, I never really saw them fighting. And what do you know? They're no longer together, you know? I'm like, so I want you to see that this is a normal relationship, that like we have disagreements, we communicate, whatever. That's okay. We still love each other. I said, do you fight with your friends? Do you fight with your brothers? Do you still love them, you know? And then she said, well, what happens if you do get divorced? And it's funny because the first thing out of my mouth was, well, that's not going to happen. And then she goes, well, what if you do? And then I sat for a second and I was like, do you know what? Kaya, because of her anxiety, she needs to know what would happen for her to feel better about it. So instead of saying that's not going to happen, no, but actually take this in. Because instead of saying it's not going to happen, I said, if your mom and dad ever got divorced and like we would both live in different homes. And she goes, well, would you guys still love each other? I said, of course we would. I'm sure we would love each other as like parents and stuff. And we still get along. And she's like, okay, that makes me feel better. And I said, okay.
Weird.
And then I scratched her back. So what I find so interesting about Kaya is she needs to know. Like she needs answers to questions. She's always asked stuff, right? Even last night she goes, it's weird because my brain's thinking things and then it's like coming out of my mouth. Isn't it so weird how the brain works? I want to be a scientist that learns about brains. I said, that makes sense for you, Kaya, because she's so fascinated with like people's brains and the way people think. But I just thought that was an interesting moment because
I wouldn't have thought to really do that.
Because you just
I would
say,
have been like,
well,
it's never going to happen.
And then she goes, well, what? She goes, well, what if somebody comes into the house to kidnap me or whatever?
What? How'd that come up?
Because she talks about this stuff all the time. And she's like,
But like that came up after this
well,
conversation?
no, then there was this like weird knocking on the window. It must have been a bug or something that kept trying to come in. And she goes, well, what if somebody comes in to kidnap me? And I was going to say, well, that's not going to happen. But she goes,
well, your dad's on a fitness program now.
no, but listen, I don't know how Kai knows it. She goes, well, let me tell you this, Mom. I'm like, what? And she goes, in Truro. And I don't know exactly what she said or what's been going on. She's like, in Truro, there's a man that is out on the loose and he just killed his girlfriend. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what the alarm was last night. How the hell did Kaya know that?
And I said, oh, where'd you hear that from? She goes, my teachers were talking about it. And I'm like, pardon?
Did he kill the person?
I think about his kill. I don't know.
He shot a girl with a shotgun.
So how does Kaya know about that?
I don't know.
So then she goes, so that's not true if you tell me, because maybe he's going to come into our house. And I said, that's an hour away. And she goes, he can drive. Like she's
my God,
she's so, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, and again, it's not like I would ever just like silence Kaya by being like, well, he's not going to drive this way, because that's not enough for her. She needs more than that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really testing my motherhood here, like on what my answers are. But I said to her, I was like, well, if somebody were to ever come in, like we have, cameras and we have a dog and we have a dad and we're all here as a family and like we'll figure it out together. And I said, if you'd like, maybe we can like talk about like a way to get out of the house. And she's like, I'd like that very much. I'm like, okay. So like Kaya, God love her. Anyway, it just made me realize like I'm trying to figure out the healthy balance with Kaya of trying to like give a little but not too much, because I still don't want her to be worrying about those things, but I want to help answer her questions for her so she doesn't feel more confused and like alone than ever, right, in her own thoughts. And that's
How did this come up again? What are we talking about?
we were talking about love.
And have me and you. We were talking about Love is Blind. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. You are really cute today.
Oh,
I got to tell you. I didn't tell you yet.
Glasses.
And I always tell you every episode what you look like. I think you look really cute.
Even
It's
with
too bad
my
you're on
little
your
bun.
period right now, because I really...
Not into the period. Don't go down that one.
Oh my God, you just look so hot right now. The
I cannot
glasses.
tell you how many people have sent me a reel.
Okay, can we just not?
No,
Can we
there's
just
this
not?
reel of going around of like this girl that's in like a full red costume and she's like biking with a suitcase and it says like when your period is joining you on your vacation. And at least 20 people, I'm not exaggerating, have sent me this reel and been like LOL because of Matt and his big crybaby. And I said, like clockwork, baby, it'll be there next
No,
trip too.
yeah. No, I just want to tell you,
Get ready.
you look absolutely beautiful today.
Oh, thanks.
And then the other thing I want to say is, have me and you been fighting lately? I would say we're not even really fighting at all lately. We've been like, am I forgetting something?
No, but I think no matter what, like you and I are not exactly like quiet people that like don't argue or whatever. I think we're pretty vocal. So.
Oh my God! Like,
What?
I don't think you and I in our drama, whatever, when you and I fight, it's never anything crazy. Like,
Look at my teeth.
Sheridan's invisible. Oh my God, you are so cute today.
That's why it's my teeth. Okay, let me tell you guys. So I did a job with Invisalign. It would have been about 19 months ago is when I signed the contract. And what?
Are we going to talk about Invisalign
For
now?
one sec. Last episode you talked about Colorado for like 15 minutes.
Buddy.
Anyway, I just quickly want to say this. This is what I want to say, because Invisalign reached out to me directly. Sometimes there has been other people in this city that have worked with the actual like orthodontist place versus Invisalign directly.
No way.
What?
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, so they're working with like, are you trying to act like you're interested? I just want to say, look at my smile.
Your smile, it looks incredible.
And honestly, like, I'm just going to throw this out there because I always thought I had a pretty great smile, but now it is thriving. And also, more importantly, when she signed me up for Invisalign, mine was like 19 months long. And I'm like, what in God's, like, why 19 months? I'm like, I see all my friends that are doing it for 6 months. Their teeth look fantastic. Like, why are you making me do it for this long? As it turns out, I had a very messed up jaw. And it has eliminated the idea of me I would have probably had to have gotten jaw surgery at some point, because have you ever had jaw lock?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to get it every day. I'd open my mouth and it would lock. It would literally lock, and it was terrifying. And ever since I started Invisalign, I never had it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it obviously did its job. My teeth look freaking great. My mom says I look like a grown-up now. She's like, I've been wondering what it is, and I think you just look like a lady. I'm like, okay, whatever that means. But yeah, maybe you should get it, Matt. Now that you're on your whole little like journey for yourself, because you've always mentioned that you don't love your teeth.
My teeth are okay. I just no. We all have like this little indent here in the front of our mouth.
Not me, mine are perfect.
No, I mean like it's funny because I want to say Stu at it too. Stu, Hannah, and me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that'd be cool, but also at the same time I'm like, ugh.
Oh, but smiles are so important.
It's true.
If you can, of course, financially afford it. But anyway, is there any last little things you want to talk about?
Sure, you're a great person, you know. I just want to tell you that. You just are.
Okay.
You're a good gal.
What made you say that?
Oh, just looking at you over there smiling. You're just a nice person. I'm really lucky to have you in my life.
Back at you.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I wrote down Kaya in sports, so I think, the reason I wrote that down is because
she's a baller.
No, that's
shot
not why.
caller.
That's not why.
20-inch chrome only.
Many episodes ago, we spoke about sports and kids and putting them in things, and it's just hilarious to me that Kaya started basketball last week, and it was just the worst night of our lives, like our one and only time that we've committed to it. And I think it's because we're just so, it's just not how our family rolls. We just do whatever, whenever, go wherever. There's no schedule.
Let me paint a picture of how this night went, okay? So Kaya's basketball was about probably, I think I timed it. It was like 22 minutes away or something like that.
Right.
It's a 45-minute round trip. When you think about it, it's not a short distance.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Kaya's basketball is at 6:00 on Tuesday nights, and then I want to say it's also on Thursdays. It just wasn't
Tuesday and Thursdays.
Yeah. So anyway, so Kaya's basketball was at 6:00 last week, and Sage's daycare closes at 4:30. So we're like, and it's kind of like in the vicinity of where the basketball was going to be. So we're like, do we just pick Sage up and like, just hang out for a little bit, hang out for an hour and a half?
We also had Lloyd.
So we pack. So this is Sheridan and I, like total noobs to kids in sports. So Sheridan and I load the van up with Lloyd and Theo and Kaya, and then drive and pick Sage up. And then we go to the bike park. And we go to the bike park, and we're there for probably 20 minutes before it sucked and it was time to go, whatever. So then we're like, let's get a bite to eat before we go.
My God.
Before we
this whole interaction is just coming back to me now.
So we're like, let's grab a bite to eat before we go drop Kai off. So anyway, I'm driving up the road, don't really know where we're going, and then it turns out that I passed the spot we were going to go to basketball. So Sharon's like, you passed. I'm like, what are you talking about? And we're on Lucasville Road in rush hour, so there's like 50 billion cars. And anyway, it's like you would think we were in like Shanghai or something. There's like 1 billion cars on the road, and now I need to cut out across multiple lanes and get back and going the other way. So we're driving along. I finally make that happen. Blood pressure's through the roof. Kids screaming and everything around me. Sheridan's like, pull into Vernon's. And remember, I missed the entryway and everything. So anyway, we pull into Vernon's and we pull into the drive-thru. And like, I've got screaming all around me from every angle. I want matzo sticks. I want a milkshake. I want a vanilla milkshake. And all this screaming. I'm trying to hear this woman through a thing. And this is the face I make. Like, if you're seeing me on camera right now, this is the face I make when I pull up to every drive-thru. I just sit there and go... Like, I literally can't hear anything. Like, she's over there like, what do you want, sir? And I'm like, I can't hear you. Guys, Theo's screaming, all this shit. So anyway, finally we get all the matzo sticks ordered, all the shit, everything going on. Then we pull up to the window. And the woman opens the glass up, and Theodore starts screaming at the woman, going, "My dad's being mean to me! My dad's being mean to me!" And I'm like, "Oh my!" So here I am, like looking at this woman, like paying for the milkshakes and the food and everything, and I'm like, "Oh my god,
my dad's so mean!
My dad's being mean!" And then like the window closed, I'm like, "Stop! Stop it!" Like, oh my god, driving me crazy. So then finally we get all our food because we're in like a real restaurant. It's not a fast food thing. So the drive-thru took like it was actually pretty quick. It was like 15 minutes or something. So then we pull up, and like the one bit of happiness in my life at this moment was the fact that I was about to eat a matzo stick. I was like a real homemade matzo stick. Like they were like crunchy and big and everything. And so I'm like this little piece of happiness in my hand, and I go to take my first bite and bite right through my lip. And I'm like, that's karma for screaming at the kids.
You were silent for 10 minutes, so angry. I was over there. Nom, nom, nom,
I over here like my Bubba Gump, whatever his name is there with the lip, like bleeding everywhere. It still hurts. I still have a hole in my lip right now because I get canker sores. So anyway, so then that happens, and then like, oh my God, I was so over it. So then anyway, we drive Kaya to basketball and run in there, try and figure it all out, try and get her hyped up to go in there. Then we drive. Then we're like sitting there, and it's like there's absolutely no way that we're staying in this parking lot with these kids.
Well, it's a full hour and a half. Yeah. It wasn't even like 45 minutes or an hour. It's like an hour and a half. And we're just this annoying distance where it's like, do we drive back? Do we stay? What do we do?
So we actually, rather than stay there with the boys and deal with them at this parking lot, it was like I opted to drive home, poop, and drive back. Like that was literally how much time I had. I was like, I would rather just stay in this car moving than sit here and fight with these kids right now. Like it was one of those nights.
We did not execute that properly. For all of you sport family listeners, that was not
How do you do it?
That is not our best moment. But I think it's just, and the thing is, because we do everything together as a family, I think that's where we're getting confused, because a lot of parents, when their kids are and stuff, they just break off and they're okay, you drive this person to and I'll do dinner and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, like tonight, Kaya has her practice at 6. So it's like somebody has to go pick up
At
Sage.
least it's in Tantalent.
I know, but it's like, what are we going to do? Wait there
I'm
for an hour
going to take her and I'm
half?
going to go grocery shopping.
Oh. Oh, you've already thought about this.
Yeah, I've been thinking about, I need to get some food for my my program.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anyway, that's the
you
end
have
of
fun
that.
with the boys.
Yeah, can't wait. Well, Theo really wants to carve his pumpkins, Matt.
Ooh, yeah, you could do that with them. Just careful.
Me.
Just be careful. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a mom. It's not a Sheridan thing to do.
Well, hun, you look great.
So
Love
are you.
New
I should have said
glasses.
it back.
It's a whole
I'm sorry.
vibe.
These aren't new glasses. I just haven't worn glasses. I heard this weird rumor that if you stop, which kind of makes sense if I think about it. If you don't wear your glasses as often, your eyes will kind of like train themselves to have better eyesight. And I think that makes sense because wearing glasses is kind of like a crutch, right?
Yeah.
And my prescription isn't so bad that it's the end of the world. So I kind of just stopped wearing glasses a long time ago. But now that I have them on, this actually feels great. I can see
you're a whole
everything
vibe
proper.
right now. I think the sweater looks good with it.
This is a very new sweater from Erie, in case anyone's interested.
So you
It's
know
soft.
how every one of our episodes I always like leave it on a little zinger. It's kind of my thing.
Oh,
now. I
God.
guess it's kind of like the point of
Okay.
the end of our show. I always like throw one little
All
thing
right.
at you.
Yeah, what is
like
it?
last time I was like, do you pee in showers? Do you want to have a quick little chat about your vibrator? No. Okay, so Sharon and I got into this thing a few years ago. I'd be like getting groceries and soap. I'd be getting like groceries and soapies and like
Just picking
one
up
day-
some Brussels
No, one day I was
sprouts.
going along and they had like those little like circle vibrator things.
Yes.
Is the intent that you put it on your penis?
Yes.
Is that the intent of it?
It is.
Okay. Because I think we did that and it was just like not really that
It
great.
didn't do much. But I mean, you can use it in any fashion
Anyway,
you want.
so you get these little mini like donut vibrator things.
Yeah, it's
And
in
so,
the same section as the condoms.
Yeah,
pregnancy
it
tests,
became a part of our
lube.
life. Like the vibrator was just kind of always around. Like one time Sage was wearing like a bracelet or something.
What's this?
What this?
Oh my god!
No, he was like wearing it as like a ponytail thing or something. Yeah, it was some ridiculous thing. Anyway, so anyway, this has been like a part of our life for a while. Like we've had a vibrator sitting around for like years now.
But it's very small.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
yeah,
the
we've
size-
had like 50 of them. Like every time the battery runs out, I'll just grab another one next time I'm at the grocery store or whatever. So Sheridan has like a little date night with Melissa, probably like, I don't know, like a month ago or something like that. And you guys went down to the condos and stayed the night down there and stuff. And Sharon's out like doing her girls thing, like doing her thing, right? And she comes home the next. No. You sent me a picture of it first. You're like, or did you? It was
did.
a picture, right?
I
You're like,
did.
I got us the new toy. And Sharon sends me this picture of this thing. It's like as big as my arm. It's like this big ass intimidating thing. It's like U-shaped and like has like USB plugs and operating systems there. Like,
You
what
sound
the
intimidated.
Of course. I'm like, what the frig? We get down there with like two arms going out of the bed trying to I'm like, what even is this
I'll
thing?
have you know that I went into that sex shop. We were walking by.
So Melissa was with you when
Yeah,
you did this.
yeah. Well, because Melissa does pole too, right? So she wanted some new outfits and stuff. So she walks in. So we're like, let's just go in. Like we had the time of our lives. We had the best night last night. I'm like, let's finish this off strong. So we walked in. And I was like, and besides, you and I had been talking about getting a regular one versus having to get the like crappy $10 ones.
I
So
never
we-
talked to you about that.
Yes, we did.
What are you? No.
Absolutely, we did. That's why I was so
Talk about
excited to
what?
send you a picture that I should get an actual good vibrator versus getting the ugly, like not ugly. Sorry, that's the wrong word. The smaller ones. So anyway, so I send Matt a photo, and
I don't remember this conversation.
when I went up there, the girl, and it's funny because she said to me after, she goes, "It's so nice to like have you say you want my help," because I walk in and she's like, "Do you need any help?" I'm like, "Actually, I do." So I'm up there. She's showing me
How
every
old is this woman?
Probably my age, and she's showing me
Really?
every single dildo, vibrator, talking to me. I'm trying them all out on my hand, and it was so helpful because I'm like, well, I want one. I'm like, I hear all these different things. I'm like, I want one that's kind of like this and like this. She's like, well,
Like what? What words did you use?
okay, so there's
Like I needed to fill in the blanks. What was it?
well, there's specific vibrators that actually suction to your clit. Like that's the thing. So that's why there's two different. That's why there's two. That's why.
Is that what that little sucking thing is?
Yeah. So there's one side that's just vibration, and then the other side, it literally has like a perfect hole to go on it to like make the motion of sucking right. Because you have to keep in mind too, Matt, there's a lot of people in this world that don't always have sexual partners all the time, and they still want that feeling, right? So once you put
Yeah, of
this on my
course.
hand, I was like, oh my God. Like that. And
Sure,
then
it's tingling
Yeah.
down
And
there.
then she
Holy
said to
shit.
me, she was like, and then there's also this. And I was like, I like this one because it's a dual thing. And yes, it looked long, but you fold it. So it's like a U.
Oh my God, I'm looking at it. I'm like, what do I got? Like an operation
No,
manual here on
it's
this?
so easy. So anyway,
What, have
Matt's
you used
still
it?
not yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It's just sitting there, and I'm like, oh, Matt's, and I can't tell if it's like your ego that's all hurt about this size of
No,
this
I'm
dildo
just-
or something.
no, it's just
or not
like-
dildo. It's not even a dildo. Well, it kind of is because it can go in on the other.
No, but
anyway.
it's just like this big fucking contraption. I'm like because up to this point, it's always been like the little thing and kind of like, you know,
I think you're a
fucking
little
little-
intimidated by it.
Of course I
and a
am.
little butthurt that I got it. You're like, is my tongue not good enough? I swear to God, that's what I think.
is what?
I think you're all butthurt about it. You're like, am I not good enough? Like, I think that's subconsciously how you feel. And I'm thinking, let's do it together.
No, it's not that.
And then what is it?
It's just awkward. It's like,
To hold it?
yeah, like a bench press this thing. Like
It's very light. I held it in my hands.
Oh, I'm
Matt.
kidding.
Do you
It's
need
just
it
like no, but it's just like everything else. Like the little loop thing was just kind of like
I know,
perfect,
a
like
little add-on.
perfect integration
Yes.
into our. And now all of a sudden it's like, all right, Sheridan, haul her out. Like
You won't have to do anything. You can just plop it on and damn.
all right. Well, I guess I'm being replaced by AI now too. So
No, but I could
Give me
definitely
five. I
see.
love you.
I could definitely see that. I've actually heard that some men do not like having toys in the bedroom, and that they find it intimidating and like why do you need that and stuff like that. Do you feel that way?
Well,
Maybe after this one you do.
Walking, you had like a great big, like massive, like fucking suction, gigantic. But no, this thing doesn't even. It doesn't look like anything. It looks like it's something right out of a fucking starship or something. Like it's like all like sci-fi looking. And
a lot of them look like that though now. That's
but I'm just
thing.
like, what am I gonna do with that? What am I gonna do with that? Like, what is my use case of this? It's not for me. It's for when I'm gone. You use it. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna be down there like using this thing. Is there?
Well, no.
I don't know,
maybe I could hold it, and then you could when we're doing it, and then I could be holding it. But I don't. It's funny because when I said to her like we want it together, like that's the direction she pointed at me. So maybe we're gonna have to like read the instructions.
Next thing it's in my butt.
Yeah, exactly.
Ba-da-bum-bum.
I love you, hon.
Goodbye.
It's the Two Gems Podcast.